Okay, sound now? Lots of sound. Okay. Are we good? Okay, we're good. Wonderful. All right. So, how are you doing today? It's been, 2 weeks since the last stream we did?
Something like that.
Yeah. And as you can see, we did a lot of upgrades since then. So, we're hoping that this one goes much smoother.
How are things in Scotland?
I don't know. Anyway, we have some pretty big, exciting news. Actually, quite a bit. So, first off, anyone who visits our website might have seen some of the changes around there. We are now Amazon affiliate partners. So, anyone wanting to order any of the supplies we use, you can do that through mandysminis.com. And there's an suggested equipment page. And it has, it doesn't have all of our stuff yet. We're still adding to it, but it is up there and it is live. So that's pretty exciting.
It's very bright and sunny here. And my hobby station needs serious work. So I have no fear. Mandy's is impeccable, as usual.
Yeah. I like a clean workstation. So, but I also do have a lot less to keep track of. All I have to keep track of really is paints and paintbrushes. All the basing materials is all in his section, which it has a lot more to it and gets a lot more messy. So,
more to the point, I'm just terrible about putting things away.
Well, there's that too. And in other big exciting news, we also have merch. Hard to see because I had to back up so much, but yeah, Mandy's Minis merch is also live on the site. So there is some apparel and some other different items, as well as I am now selling some of the figures that I've painted for myself over the years. And so some of that's going to be up there. We're going to get some of Ben's terrain up there. So any GMs can purchase that to use in their games.
She would think it was funny. You should say it.
What?
Usually he would say it's a great looking bus. He doesn't want to say that to female artists.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not that sensitive.
Mandy's very proud of all of her buses.
So,
and I'm a dirty old man, so.
Yeah, you have been even since you were before you were old.
Mm-hmm.
You're still a dirty old man. I'm also losing my voice, which is, a lot of fun as I try and talk for however long this stream is going to go.
Which is hilarious. It's not like you were shouting at Pete or anything yesterday.
No. We went to the beach and it was a very big current day with lots of massive waves, which was very rough on me. I'm not a great swimmer. I enjoy it, but I'm not good at it. And I cannot handle water without holding my nose closed, which when you're dealing with waves isn't always the best and isn't something that you can really control. So it didn't go well, and I ended up sputtering on the beach at the shoreline.
Curled up on her towel. Where's my microphone? Yes, she spent the afternoon on her towel, but she always knew where her towel was. It's a nerdy reference you won't get.
Okay. There's actually a lot of those. All right. Pulling out the hair dryer. Sorry for the noise. There we go. I just don't want to wait for her to dry. I'm impatient. All right. So what have you been working on since last time? Oh, sure.
Oh, fine.
I am actually, the base coat that I just put down and used the hair dryer on is Lone Star Leather from Reaper. And I'm mostly using Reaper paints. This is Rosy Shadow from the Rosy Skin Triad. And right now, what I'm applying is a 50-50 mix of the Lone Star Leather with the Rosy Shadow to kind of build up the into the base tone. So I'm still working in the shadows right now, the shadow colors. Still working in the shadow colors right now, but building up to the highlight or to the mid-tone when I will then build up to the highlights. Ooh. Finishing an army is a big deal. So that's pretty awesome. Can't say I don't play any war games, just paint.
Yeah, but every time you finished an army for somebody, it felt like a huge accomplishment for you.
Yes. So I have worked on armies for commissions and things like that. And there is a collaboration we're working on where I did paint an army. It's not Warhammer. It is for a game called Free Blades. And we are actually doing that collaboration as part of the Nova charity. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But we can't really release anything yet because Nova Charity has asked us to wait till closer to the actual charity event. So, man, my voice is awful. It comes and goes. So there we go. A little bit better now. But yeah, so they asked us that so that it would be closer to the event, and
Create more excitement.
yep. So we're waiting on that. But I did get to paint Free Blades Army, and that was a lot of fun. And if you don't know what Nova Charity is, it is a miniature painting charity that helps. They have artists donate figures that they've painted and armies and different things, and then they auction it off. Not sure if it's an auction or a raffle, actually. And then all the proceeds go to different charities. So they do like Doctors Without Borders and a few others I can't think of right now. I want to say like Emmanuel House, but I could be completely wrong on that one. So we're very excited to be working with them and getting to donate.
He wants to make sure you don't.
Yeah, I make no promises on that. It might happen. Hoping not. Doesn't usually. It's like the only time I've ever done that in here. So what else do we have going on? We actually, it has been a weird week. We actually had a camera break, so we had to buy a new one. But really cool thing is it came just in the nick of time, and as you can see, it is much, much better quality. So at least we have that. Come on, Ben, what else did we have?
Oh, let's see what happened next week.
I was reached out to by the regional coordinator for the national modeling group.
International Plastic Modelers Association, IPM, IPMA.
Sounds right. So I'll be doing some classes, teaching some classes on painting at their big event coming up in October. So that's exciting.
Very good.
But I think that's pretty much the extent.
Yeah, I mean, you got a couple of new commissions.
Yeah. Haven't actually come in yet, so and just got inquiries that and information that they'll be shipping. So once those arrive, that'll be exciting. Okay. And now I'm switching to a 2-to-1 ratio for the two Rosy Shadows to 1 Lone Star Leather.
And it's just been a quiet but odd week.
Yeah.
Sorry about the quiet painting. We ran out of things to talk about apparently.
Yeah. Went from being pretty excited about all this cool stuff going on to, okay, well, now we've talked about all of it. So,
I'm pretty sure you can get the full Reaper range online.
yes.
It might be an issue, but
Well, they also have a UK distributor. So if you go to their website, um, reaperminiatures.com, they have an option where you select which area is closest to you. There's like one for the US, one for the UK, one for Australia, and I don't know what that fourth one is. So you select that and they give you the different options. So, but they are very prominent in the UK as well. They have,
yeah, they've got a lot of market share.
yeah, they have stores. Well, we don't know about their market share.
Yeah,
That's not something we study, but they do have a distributor and all of that. So
I think somebody actually set up like a Reaper paint line or something like that. I think that's actually just off distribution area.
so yeah. I actually, how I got started was through Reaper Miniatures, because our local store carries them, and they're very cheap miniatures, only costing a few dollars for some of the figures. So Ben would buy them for me and try and get me to paint them, and then I joined the Facebook group, their Reaper Miniatures Facebook group, and really learned a lot from there and fell in love with it and took over. So Reaper holds a big place in my heart because that's how I got started. So, and I love their paints. I Scale 75 is probably my favorite, but it is a much more expensive paint range. So at the same time, I do love Reaper. To me, their Scale 75 just has better coverage, goes on, thicker in one coat. But Reaper miniatures, I've never had any real issue with them being too thin. But at the same time, I think they're also better for beginners because they are more thin than a lot of the other ranges. So you have to worry about manually thinning it less than you do with anything else. So at least that's my take on it.
Mandy is not a fan of the Army Painter paints.
No, I have a bunch of Army Painter paints, and I'm not. These are the older line. They have redone their paints since then. But Army Painter and Vallejo, I have a lot of trouble with. It just dries on my palette, even on my wet palette, so quickly, like within minutes. I can't even get a full one coat all over the model before it is already dry.
Even working off her wet palette.
I said that. Mhm. That's okay. But yeah, that really surprised me. And I know a lot of people love them. So I don't know what it is, if it's just the area. I mean, I have friends who are in the area who use Army Painter all the time, and they don't have that trouble. So I don't know, maybe I got a bad batch or something, but I hate mine. I rarely use them, and I don't want to buy more because I don't want to risk it happening again, even though I know they've changed the formula and I know they've been trying to improve it, but I just can't verify spending or justify spending the money on it.
Paints are just too expensive sometimes.
Hmm. And I have a good amount. I mean, I have some Chimeras. I have a wide range of Reapers. I have most of the scale 75s. Um, a lot of inks because I love doing inks. Quite a few contrast paints and Citadel. And then I have the Army painters and the Vallejo that just sit and don't really do much. I will say that the ice yellow from Vallejo, this one I have not had any trouble with and I absolutely love. So again, I know that there's something going on that isn't normal. So I don't want to like scare anyone off of the brands. I've just never had a real good experience with Army Painter.
Your results may vary.
Probably will. Okay. Now I'm switching to straight up rosy shadow. And this will be my mid-tone. So after this one, I will be moving up into highlights.
Maybe was thinking sky blue or baby blue for the armor on.
Yeah.
I think it sounds weird, but
I think that'll look real pretty. Kind of a nice pastel look. Um, I'll admit it's not exactly normal. It's not what most people would use, but she's clearly someone who has custom armor and some money to spend, and why wouldn't she customize it um to be a baby blue?
90% Vallejo and never had issues with myself. You usually need to paint them on the base, but yeah, that's pretty common.
Hmm.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
For minis.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I love Reaper. I actually find myself not needing to thin them um, pretty much at all. And you can see they go on nice and smooth and thin, even without adding water to them. Like these, I'm just using straight up on a wet pallet. So I don't mix any water in. When I use the scale 75s, I do mix water in. And of course, with Vallejo and Army Painter, I mix in as well because otherwise, hi Logan, our cat. Um, Otherwise, it just is too thick. But even then, even with the water, it's still drying too quickly. So I can't say that I like that. I have been neglecting her neck this whole time. Got it. A hair. That is why you don't get to see the cats or hear the cats very often. They're not welcome in here since, but my hair is long enough that it causes its own problems. So oh, he's just gonna keep crying. You know, now that I'm going through and painting her, I feel like she would be a real cool character to paint with like a scary, almost undead look. Something about her reminds me of oh, who is the witch from Willow?
That
Yeah, something about her. I mean, I'm kind of painting her more young, but you paint her a little bit older, and I feel like she might have that look.
It's a very bad Morta.
Okay. And for anyone curious, that first highlight that I put down is Reaper's Fair Skin mixed with Rosy Shadow. I believe in our last stream we were talking about the triads and how I feel like they don't go far enough. You can see the colored variance here and how it's far more extreme than any of the Reaper triads actually get to. So that's why I don't like using them. I do like buying them. Like I said, Rosy Shadow is part of a triad. The Fair Skin is part of a triad. I just don't use them within that triad. So that's something else that's pretty neat.
You're just kind of-
Not difficult. I'm just trying to get extreme contrast because that is what makes your miniatures pop. So we want awesome vibrance, which is why I'm doing so many layers and building up, because all of that adds to the vibrance of the piece. The more layers you get on there.
She has not budged yet in in her willingness to watch Hawk. I keep telling her the fans are asking for it. She says no.
I don't have the time. I don't really get to watch much of anything, except some YouTube because those are pretty short. So, not to mention the fact that I love supporting some of my favorite YouTubers. So, of course, I want to watch them.
Of Hawk, and is it worth watching?
Well, we've already established for me that's a no.
Not for the first time.
When you're working with smaller figures, you're gonna have less vibrance because you just can't get all the layers on there. But even smaller ones, I'll show you this one that I've been working on. Get her out of the way. Come on, you gotta.
That one's locked up. It is frozen.
No. Oh. Yeah, it's not frozen here.
Oh, well then, that's good. Let it be.
I just reset. Well, I reset it. I don't know if that actually did anything.
Okay.
Okay. So here she is. Should be coming right back.
I got it. Leave it alone.
I don't know. But the extremes on these. Oh, there they are. Okay. So, are you seeing that in focus? Not really.
Focus.
I go from these two extremes for all the purple. So you can see how one is near black and the other one is, ice purple, like. So. Yeah, okay, now I've got it back on the Wi-Fi, so it might actually read it now. Nope.
We apologize for technical difficulties.
That was kind of fun because, like, and not working. That's where the audio is coming from.
Let's see if we can't try something different. Hold that on a second.
We're going to completely lose sound.
All right, you've got that back? We're about to lose you for just a second.
Okay. Okay, do we have sound back?
Wait a minute.
Apparently not.
No, it won't do webcam connects.
Okay. Well, considering we don't even have that camera working anymore. Ben's working on it. So. With any luck, we'll get there. All right. Well, he's still working on that. But this that I'm doing now, I just added a little bit of white to the straight up fair skin because I want to take it up just a little bit higher so that when I glaze it in a minute, it'll glaze back down and still have these really nice sharp highlights. Oh, the camera's back.
Yes, camera's back.
I move over here anyway. All right, easier than moving the camera. All right, so now I'm going to glaze the rosy skin to basically blend everything back together. Wow. I am really losing my voice now.
Soda for you.
Yeah. I'll grab it in a moment. Yeah. And I seem to have neglected the neck some more. So I'm going to have to go back and do a little bit more with that, but okay. I frequently go too thick on my glazes. If you ever have that trouble, just get some water on your brush and you can thin the glaze right there on the model. Kind of bring it back a little, like I just did.
Tips on trying something larger scale like a bus.
What about it?
He's never had the confidence to try something.
Oh, honestly, I would say just jump in, go for it. I find them so much easier to work with because you have so much more room to actually do everything. Um, so I could never get that much blending with a smaller figure. So a lot of times what I do is when I pick a trick that I'm learning, so like let's say glazing, or focusing on skin tone. I will do it on a bigger model. Chibis are wonderful because they're that in between, not too big, not too small. But basically practice on something bigger. And then when you can make it look good on something bigger, it's easier because you kind of know um, the idea and the practice of it on something smaller. Bigger things are less forgiving of any kind of flaws or problems. So I get why people are scared of it, but you also have a bigger area to work with, so it's easy to keep redoing. Um, so that's my take on it. But I actually started with larger figures and then worked down to smaller ones. But if you don't know about chibi figures, Ben, can you grab me one from the store? No, you can't because the light's blocking it.
But I can grab you.
Oh, yes. Okay, so these are actually Reaper miniature chibis. And you can see they're bigger. I mean, look at how large those eyes are. If I can get it in focus. There we go. Look at how large those eyes are compared to a normal mini. So I usually do a lot of my practicing on these chibis, and Impact Miniatures. I work with them a lot, and I love those miniatures. They're actually a little bit bigger than this, even. And they have a lot of pop culture ones, so that's really cool too. So, all right. A little more glazing on these elbows, and then I think we'll be good.
They're a little bit cartoony.
Yes, very cartoony. Yeah, but that's what helps make them bigger, so it makes them easier to work with, in my opinion. Everyone's got their own opinion, obviously. Okay, so now I'm using some scale 75, and this is just fuchsia. And for this one, I am just glazing to add some representation of the brain not working. It's working about as well as my voice is today. The blood. Thank you, honey. It's working about as well as or represents the blood under the skin. So that kind of helps bring the skin a little more to life. And let's get that. Not to mention it also acts nicely as blush. So get some of that in there. And with this one, especially because it's such a bright color, I do want to emphasize this is a very thin glaze because I don't want it to be like neon fuchsia. That's not very skin related. But as I'm going with like a baby blue armor or a sky blue, something in the more pastel look, I wanted to keep more with pinks than with reds. And then one of the other things I'll do is I will go in and use this same color for the lips to help kind of tie it all together. And apparently the most messy way possible. There we go. Back and clean up the skin a little bit where I messed up there. Yeah, I actually had got 3 or 4 of the nativity sets, the small ones where it's just Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. Um, and I've actually gave one to both of Ben's grandmothers, and um, my sister-in-law wants one. I still haven't painted hers yet. So I should probably do that because that was from a few years back, maybe 3 years ago. So she's probably forgotten about it. So that's okay. But yeah, we just give them to your grandmothers, right?
Yes, we did.
Yep. And I don't even know what happened to it after your grandma passed.
Yeah, I don't either.
So never got it back. Never, no one ever asked us if we wanted it back. But we don't have kids and we're not going to have kids. So maybe somebody else took it, or
And you know, my mom had said she wanted one, so maybe she grabbed it.
maybe. So
Should totally get one to do for her Christmas present though.
we could pull out errands since I've never done errands yet. And like I said, pretty sure she forgot all about it.
Oh, is that still laying around?
Yep, it's in the store.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't keep track of what's in the store. So.
Oh, our store is out of control. Our store is code for the closet we keep our pile of shame. So we just call it the store because that's a lot more fun than saying, the closet. I just hear the doorbell.
So I didn't.
Okay.
They noticed it just walked in. So
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. There we go. She's looking pretty good. And the other nice thing about having the fuchsia is she's got this fun scar here. So that'll look pretty cool. And then fun with this. I can't find my pokey tool to get the right color. Not that the color really matters. I'm doing black. But, I just switched from Reaper to scale 75 because the scale 75 will come out without my pokey tool.
Apparently you did hear them. Doorbell.
Uh-huh.
We have company.
I have better eyes and better ears than him. All right. Oh, a drawer. I would love for my pile of shame to fit in a drawer. That would be awesome. I'm out of control. Absolutely, positively out of control. Which not cool. At the same time, it's so much fun and it's so awesome. I love having all them. And I'll get to them eventually, right? That is what we all tell ourselves. I mean, this one's only been sitting on my shelf for about 2 months. So that's not too bad. Okay. Do you ever find yourself playing the back and forth game like I am? Little too much of the black, little too much of the fuchsia, a little too much of the black, little too much of the fuchsia. Back and forth I go. Now the black's just overpowering everything. There we go. Now those movies I love. I have seen Back to the Future, all 3 of them. And I used to watch the cartoon when I was little. Well, younger. I think I was a bit older than the main people. But the important thing was it was on when I was getting ready for school, so I could just have it on and um, didn't really have to pay too much attention to it. Right. And let me clean this up a little. I think I'm going to go ahead and finish up these eyes. And then I think we're going to have to call the stream there. As Ben said, we do have some friends who just stopped by, and Dan and Tracy. You guys might know Dan from some of my other videos. So we haven't gotten to see them in a while. They were on vacation. Oh, that would make a good RPG. Somebody needs to get on that. Game makers, Back to the Future. That is definitely a worthwhile IP to look into. So, all right. Now I'm using Reaper's Linen White. these eyes going. Yeah, no, she's in another state, so it doesn't really matter. And she definitely does not watch my channel or anything like that. So I actually have two sister-in-laws. Um, both want to be absolutely supportive and that sort of thing. They're wonderful. But they're one of the first people to tell me, I don't understand why you do that. Like, well, it's fun. So, that's pretty much all of that. I'm just going to go ahead and roll with this icy violet that I was using on the other figure for her eyes. But yeah, so I definitely don't have to worry about that because they're not going to see any of this. So, all right, they're trying to lure me upstairs to hang out. So definitely gonna have to wrap it up after these eyes. Right. Yep, definitely. So I'm just about finished here though. So I'm gonna wrap up here first. Now I'm using Reaper Unicorn White for the little specular highlight here. Nope, it's not going to go for me. Let's see, one more try. Too much. Not too much, not enough. I think that pretty much gets the gist of it, but she's coming along pretty good. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it here. Thank you all so much for watching and hanging out with me. I love painting with you guys. So we'll definitely have to do this again. We'll get that scheduled as soon as possible, especially now that we got most of the technical problems out of the way. And there'll be a new video coming out on Saturday, this coming Saturday. So be sure you look for that. And I can't wait to hear from you guys again and when we can reconnect. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then, have fun and keep creating. If I can figure out how to stop it. Here we go.